Hey, welcome to Virginia Creeping Outdoors, or indoors today. What we have here today is all kinds of chicken. Found it at half price. They had just marked it down, stuck it out. Got 4 platters of it. And if you're short on freezer space and you find a deal that you just can't pass up, a great way to deal with it is to can it. So that's what we're going to do today with all this chicken. So, with no further ado, get the camera angle, and I've got a big stock pot here that I'm going to be cooking the chicken in. And you don't have to cook it all the way. You want to just cook it halfway, and then it'll be cooked the rest of the way in the canner. So I've got my stock pot with spices, and I've also got another stock pot that I'm going to use for adding the liquid to the cans that I don't have to strain off all the fat. So we'll go ahead and throw all this chicken in the pot, and then we will move on to the next step. Okay, the chicken's been cooking for about 5 minutes now, maybe just a touch longer, and we're going to go ahead and take that off the heat and put the pressure cooker on the burner. It's got It's got 3 inches of water in it, like it's supposed to, and from here we're going to want to dish out the chicken into the jars. And I've done lost my pair of tongs, but quickly recovered. So these are about 32 pieces of chicken thighs that we're going to place into the jars. And they're not completely cooked because the rest of the cooking will be done inside the pressure cooker, because it's going to spend about 90 minutes in there at a really high temperature, so you don't want to cook it all the way. And one thing you want to do when you're cooking or canning any kind of meat is you want to make sure to pack it in there as best you can, because that's basically what you're supposed to do with meat. So I am going to go ahead and top these jars up with the meat, and then we will fill them with the broth. Chicken in jars, and I'm using pestle mortar thing to go ahead and pack the meat in the jars, because it's supposed to be packed in there really good. And now that I've got them packed, I'm going to use the headspace measuring device. And for meat with a quart jar, you want 1 inch of headspace. So we will go ahead and fill the jars to 1 inch of headspace. And of course I'm going to start with the one furthest away from the camera. That was a good move. And we'll do one here in the front for you, and hopefully you're seeing more than just my arm. It's kind of difficult filming situation. Okay, we've got them all filled up with the broth to 1 inch of headspace. And what we will do at this point is you got to make sure the rim is clean. If you don't get that rim clean, you're not going to get a good seal. So that's an important step to remember. Okay, the rims are all clean at this point, so we will take the lids. They've been boiling, so they're nice and hot and sterile. This has to be a pretty clean process, although any germs are going to be pretty much eliminated in the pressure canner. Hard. They need to have a stronger magnet on these. Now that we have lids on, we're going to put the rings on. Remember, these things are hot. You got to be very careful. And when you put the rings on, they do not have to be cranked down really super tight. You just want to get them finger tight. And it will seal once it goes into the canner. Actually when it comes out of the canner, it will seal. You'll hear a little pop on the lid that indicates that it is sealed. Okay, now that we have them there, we'll move the camera over here a little bit, and we will take the jar tongs and set them in the canner. And it's a good idea to know how many jars your pressure canner will fit, because I maxed out on that one with 7. You know, after you do it a while, you'll get some idea of how many it will hold. Read the directions on the canner, and then we will take it, line up the little V's, and we will seal it up. And then we're going to wait for this to pop up and have a good head of steam coming out of I don't know what the technical name of that thing is. It's what the wobbler goes on, and it takes about 6-7 minutes to get a good head of steam, and then we'll put our wobbler on. So we'll wait till that happens and get you on the next segment here. Okay, we've been blowing steam for about 7 minutes. That basically just removes the air from the canner, because you just want to have water and steam, so you want a lot of that air to go out. And after about 7 minutes of that, you're going to want to put your wobbler on. And at this point, we're going to wait for the pressure gauge to reach about 8 pounds, and then I'm going to turn the heat down to about 2. You kind of have to watch it and tweak it a little bit to get it to hover around 10, 11, maybe 12 pounds. You don't want to overpressure it. So if you reduce the heat before it reaches, it's going to continue to rise. And then once it reaches that 10-pound range, you want to let it cook for 90 minutes. And that's what we're going to do, and we'll be back with you once it accomplishes that. Okay, it's been 90 minutes. Chicken's been cooking or processing in the pressure canner. And what we're going to do is go ahead, turn the heat off, which it's already off. And I'm going to move it to the side and let it cool down, depressurize down to 0, and then we will remove the canned chicken and let it continue to cool. Okay, the pressure is bleeded off. We're down to 0 pounds. Little pressure indicator is down, and we will remove the warbler. And then we will remove the top of the pressure cooker. And then after that, we will remove the cans, the jars, to a place where they can finish cooling down. And it's not unusual to have it still boiling. These things are popping as soon as I pull them out of the pot. Okay, as soon as we got them out of the canner, we will go ahead and cover them up and let them dry, or not dry, but cool off. And it'll probably take about 24 hours for these to be able to find their final destination on a shelf, or whether you cook them, use them whenever. But you'll hear the tops pop. It's sealing, and a couple of them have already done that. So after about 24 hours, we'll be able to use these, or set them on a shelf and use them whenever. So I hope you found this informative. Always make sure to check various sources, books, online, whatever. You're going to be eating it. Your safety is most important to you, so educate yourself. And I hope you found this informative, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.